and welcome to my 33-week pregnancy update. It's been a while, but things were really crazy with the holidays. We had a great time hanging out with our families. I hope you enjoyed the vlog that included more of Matt's family. If you haven't seen that, check it out right here. So this week, this little baby boy is about the size of a junior tennis racket, and I totally know exactly how big that is. Probably the proportion of people who know that is fairly limited, but anyway, it's about 17 to 19 inches long and 4 to 6 pounds. So I actually did have an appointment and an ultrasound in these last few weeks, and according to that ultrasound, the baby was already 5 pounds, and that was before 33 weeks, so we're probably trending towards the bigger side, as usual. As far as baby's development, there's not a whole lot of new things happening this week. Mostly his bones are hardening and he's putting on more fat. Since they're already in the 17 to 19 inch range, they're almost as long as they're gonna get, really, but it's all about putting on fat, getting those lungs developed and breathing. And also now, the baby is keeping his eyes open when he's awake. And I still definitely know when he's awake. Even though he's running out of room in there, he's still kicking up a storm, believe me. For my part, I know I've mentioned difficulty breathing in the last several pregnancy updates, and that is still definitely a thing. Breathing gets pretty interesting sometimes. Oh my gosh, especially after going up the stairs and when Lincoln wants me to sing to him. It's like, okay, I can sing most of a line of a song before I need to like take a deep breath. But actually it works out pretty well because a lot of the songs he wants me to sing most of the line and then he wants to sing the last word, so I can kind of breathe while he sings his little word of the song, and then I can go ahead and sing the next line. So it actually works out okay as far as singing goes right now. I had an appointment at 32 weeks, which went pretty darn well. There were a couple things that were just not even really concerning, but just things that they wanted to follow up on in my blood test results from my previous appointment. So one of those things was very slightly low iron. They're not going to really do anything about it. They just want me to make sure I'm eating plenty of leafy greens and some more red meats. And it was interesting because after they said that I had low iron, I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. I've been chewing ice more frequently recently, and I know that that is a symptom of an iron deficiency. So just kind of interesting that I made that connection. And also my platelets were very slightly low, which can be an early sign of some pregnancy disease. I don't even remember the name right now, to be honest with you, because that's how much I am not worried about it, but I'll put the name of it right here just in case. So they drew my blood again, but it's been over a week and I still don't have results from that blood test. I know it was over the holidays, but it still seems like blood test results usually don't take that long to come back, so that's kind of weird. I'll ask them about that at my next appointment, if not sooner, but I'm really not worried about it. After that ultrasound, which, by the way, oh my gosh, I never got 3D ultrasound pictures with Lincoln, and I got to this time, and it is amazing. As soon as I saw it, I was just like, oh my gosh, that looks exactly like Lincoln did when he was born. It was really exciting and fun to see. So I'll put those pictures right here of this baby boy and Lincoln when he was born. And because we were measuring on the big side, they did go ahead and schedule us for another ultrasound at 35 weeks. So I'll go in again and hopefully get more freaking adorable pictures, because who doesn't love to see their baby even before they're born? Another thing I found out is that my hospital is even more awesome than I thought they were, because I can eat during labor, which is beautiful. Basically, they say they don't want you to eat after you have an epidural because that can have more like nausea and weird symptoms associated with it. But if you don't have an epidural, you can eat whatever you want, and I love them for that. Over New Year's, we were with Matt's family in Nebraska, and a lot of us got the stomach flu, including me, so that was not fun. For me, it was even less than 24 hours. It was more like 12 hours that I was feeling pretty yucky, and then the next day just like tired and sore. Part of that for me, since I got pretty dehydrated, I had a lot of Braxton Hicks contractions. For 2 hours, I had them like every 3 minutes, which that's a lot of Braxton Hicks contractions. You're supposed to go into the hospital, you're supposed to call the hospital if you have a Braxton Hicks contraction more than like 6 or 7 times in an hour. Having them every 3 minutes is distinctly more than that. So I called my friend who's in med school, and we figured that it was probably because I was dehydrated. So I just tried to get some water down, and luckily I was able to keep that down. And after getting 2 big glasses of water in my system and sleeping some more, they definitely slowed down and we were in better shape. But then last night, I was having quite a few more Braxton Hicks contractions, and then I actually ended up waking up in the middle of the night with like a painful contraction. I was like, what is this? What are you doing, body? Matt's not here, he just left. It's not even close to February. This is 34 weeks. What? So that was kind of concerning, but I got back to sleep, and then I woke up with one more painful contraction like that. But that was all I had, was just 2. So we'll see what happens with that. Hoping this baby stays in for another month, because Matt has to get the house on the market, do all that good stuff before he can come back here. And I do not want to go through labor without him. That sounds distinctly unfun. Within the last couple weeks, I ended up taking off my wedding rings. It felt like if I kept them on any longer, it was going to be impossible to get them off. So my hands are probably a little swollen. They don't really look swollen to me at all. It was just enough that my wedding rings got tight, and my feet have definitely started to swell sometimes too towards the end of the day, especially if I wear like socks that come up around my calf. There can be a really big ring in my calf where the sock was tight. So trying to avoid socks like that. And last night, actually, my ankles got the most swollen they've ever really been, including with Lincoln. I think there might have been one night with him where they were about that swollen. So it just feels like, for me, things are kind of escalating, and I'm having more of the late pregnancy symptoms, and even some that I didn't really have with Lincoln, even though he was so late. Like, even though Lincoln was born 10 days late, I wasn't that swollen with him. Like, even those last 10 days, yeah, they sucked because you're enormous and it's just hard to move around. But I wasn't having painful contractions. I wasn't being all swollen like this. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. So I think that's it for my part of the update. Let's look at the bump. Okay, so here is 33-week bump. It's quite low, but even with it being that low, I still can't freaking breathe. Here's the bump with no shirt on. And tattoo update. I think it's looking great, not stretched out at all. So good news, my friends, we picked a good spot for a tattoo. Thank you guys so much for watching this update. I hope it's not my last one. I hope I can squeeze at least 2 more in before this baby's born. Please, please keep us in your thoughts that this baby stays inside until February when Daddy gets home. Thanks again. Bye!